Yeah.
Hi, please
Assalamualaikum.
take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
You may like to introduce yourself to all of us.
Good morning, everyone, Honorable Chairman and the panelist members. My name is Adil Riaz and I belong to Mandi Bhavadeen. As far as my educational career is concerned, I got my earlier education till intermediate from Mandi Bhavadeen. And then I joined Qaid-e-Azam University, where I pursued my law and I graduated with distinction in 2021. Throughout my educational career, I was involved in extracurricular and co-curricular activities, and also I was the part of number of societies. And this thing has somehow inculcated within me a few leadership qualities, interpersonal skills, and moreover an exposure to different fields. And this has also inculcated me a motivation to pursue my career as a civil servant. And then I joined Provincial Management Services Punjab last year, and now I am under training there. And now I want to become central part of Central Superior Services.
So, you are already part of the bureaucracy
Yes, sir.
and the provincial bureaucracy.
Yes, sir.
And where you are getting your training?
Sir, at MPDD Lahore.
Where?
Sir, Management and Professional
Okay.
Developmental Department, Lahore.
Okay, Lahore. What type of training it is?
So it's basically post-induction probation training in which we are going through number of modules, and it has been
Just
categorized.
Tell me, what are the modules?
So basically, it started with the basic IT training, and then it went with the basic laws, and then the service laws, along with the economics, and then the public administration, and then budget making.
What is the length of this training?
Sir, it's almost 6 months.
It is 6 months. How many months you have done?
Sir, I've gone through 2 months and 4 months are remaining. It'll end on 2nd of February 2023.
Okay, you tell me, you are part of the provincial management services. What is the structure of political administration in the province of Punjab?
So basically, a political administration structure starts with, there are basically two tiers. One is bureaucratic structure and other is the provincial political structure. It starts with the CM and later on there are ministries, the cabinet. And later on, along with there is every political. But since yet we don't have the local government system in Punjab, so still the political heads on the part at the district level are missing, but at minister level there are political structures available.
So, if I ask you to give me the hierarchy of political structure of administration in the province of Punjab, how you will explain it?
Sir, I'll divide that into the two parts. One is at the district level and then the upper level. But since the hierarchies are divided on the basis of if we look into within the revenue domain, then we can divide it into four parts. First one at the tehsil level, then at the district level, then at the division level, and then at the provincial level.
So, you tell me, decision making regarding policy making and planning is done at which level of the provincial administration?
Sir, it's basically at two levels, at the provincial level and at the district level. So if we talk about the
At
provincial
the provincial level, who is making this policy decisions?
So basically, there are two types of policy makings. One is done by the provincial and the planning and developmental boards in Punjab, and secondly, at the local level, the particular powers are invested within the district administration.
What are the salient features of 1973 Constitution?
The 1973 Constitution has number of salient features, starting with it starts with the preamble where the sovereignty belongs to Allah Almighty, and the particularly sovereignty has been conferred to the representative of the people under a sacred trust. It's a democratic notion, and we have federal form of government and the parliamentary form of government. We have two houses in the center. One is the National Assembly and second is the Senate. It also incorporates a number of fundamental rights starting from Article 8 to 28 and then principles of policy. And it has also constitutionalized number of appointments, starting with the judges from the presidential appointments to it has laid down number of ways through which a whole structure of the government will continue.
Adil, what is the difference between constitution and constitutionalism?
So basically,
Constitution and constitutionalism.
Constitution is something that is a supreme law of land. That is something that is concrete thing. But constitutionalism is a doctrine through which the particular notions, the basic grand norm behind a constitution is somehow made. These are basically, we can say, that's an abstract contract, and the result or the byproduct of that thing is a constitution or the concrete thing.
Just tell me briefly, what is your take on B&R, Belt and Road Summit, which is recently held in China?
So it's a very welcoming step, specifically because in terms of Pakistan and China scenario, we were seeing in the recent years that China was very concerned regarding the security issues of their personals or the particular people, the Chinese nationals who are working in Pakistan. So as recently our Honorable Prime Minister has came back yesterday, and there were around 20 agreements that was being cumulated between Islamabad and Beijing. So that's a very important step that we have somehow able to make them realize and satisfy the fact that we are working on the security of this particular thing, and we are very much somehow concerned to make this happen. And this is something that is important for the economic perspective of both the countries as well. So I think for both Pakistan and China, it's a very win-win situation for specifically in the current global power dynamics as well as the economic perspective as well. Thank you.
About 3, 4 years back, a number of administrative reforms were introduced in a bureaucratic structure. Are you familiar with those reforms? Can you?
Sir, I'm not that much familiar, but I can give a guess about it. Is it about the formula between the division of seats? Then yes, otherwise I'm unable to recall it.
Under what law the working of police is being governed right now?
I'm sorry, I'm unable to recall it, but I'll look into it afterwards.
Have you heard of Police Order 2002?
Yes, sir.
So, can you tell us about some of its features?
So basically, I haven't gone into the details of Police Order 2002, but it has somehow reformed the previous structures. But now it lays out the basic functions of the number of
What was the previous structure?
So there were a number of laws that were being accumulated and combined under the Police Order 2002, but I am unable.
What was the earlier structure you were saying?
I'm unable to recall the names of those laws, but I have read that even in the preamble it states in the Police Order 2002 that previously all the laws were being accumulated.
What is the basic spirit behind Police Order 2002?
The basic spirit behind, we can see the preamble of that thing for assessing these things. So the basic spirit behind this is to accumulate, first instance, to accumulate all the laws available regarding the functioning and the services, and secondly, it also lays down the do's and don'ts, what police officers are empowered to do and what they are not empowered to do.
When you go back, have a look at it. Police service of Pakistan is your second choice.
Yes,
and you should know about the Police Order 2002, its basic features, and what was the need for its introduction. How do you see the Supreme Court judgment over the Supreme Court Practices and Procedures Act?
I think that's a very that judgment is basically based on Constitution, and that's a very welcoming judgment because if we look back into the particular power that has been conferred to the Supreme Court under Article 184 Clause 3 regarding the suo motu. So the right to appeal given under this particular act, and later on the particular judgment has called this particular thing as per law. So that is a very good thing. On the other hand, the constitution of bench, that was something that it has somehow ended the discretion of one body, and it has somehow laid the powers among different people. So this will somehow, it will end the hyperjudicial activism, and on the other hand, it will also end the discretion.
CSS, a dream of every aspirant.
दुनिया की बड़ी से बड़ी कामयाबी की तरफ पहला कदम उसकी जमानत होता है और कामयाबी के लिए सही रहनुमाई सबसे ज़रूरी चीज़ है।
Get the best CSS coaching with us. Our program includes complete CSS coaching, foundation classes, frequent class tests, mock exams, personalized feedback, library access, help tests, and much more.
Description of what?
The discretion of the Chief Justice of Supreme Court of Pakistan.
Regarding what?
The Constitution of Bench.
Constitution of benches. Okay. What is the badminton? You play badminton?
Yes, sir. Just as a hobby, not as a regular player.
What is the length and breadth of the badminton court?
So the length of the badminton court is 44 feet, and the width is 20 feet.
Do you exercise regularly?
Sir, not regularly, but now I'm in the training phase, so it is as a part of our training. So we usually wake up at 6, and it's our physical training from 6 to 7 a.m. in the morning.
But here, as one of your weaknesses, you have written skipping exercise sometimes. That implies that you exercise regularly.
Sir, I just referred it. That is because of the compulsion. But before the training, I was skipping these things. But I am now working on it.
You say you overeat. Overeating is good? Something?
No, sir, that is not something. That is the reason why I have written it into my weaknesses.
Right.
But I am working on it to cover it.
Your strength is determination.
Yes, sir.
When you know that overeating is not good and you should not be doing it, still you do it. So how can you say you are determined?
Sir, I have almost loosened my weight by 12 kg in the last 2 months. So that shows my determination, and that shows also that I have somehow controlled overeating as well. So I'm working on it.
These are two contradicting each other. Public administration. How will you differentiate between delegation and decentralization?
In decentralization, the powers are not somehow delegated in a way it happens in the delegation. In decentralization, the powers are directly given to the lower authority. But in delegation, the actual power rests in the upper authority, but these are for temporary purposes, for the specific purpose that are given to the lower authority to do some specific purpose.
How many schools of thought were there in the field of public administration?
Sir, at the start, we can divide the school of thought, so we can divide that into the classical and the contemporary school of thoughts. However, within the classical, we have firstly the ideal bureaucratic school of thought, and second one is the scientific management theory. But in the contemporary, we have two school of thoughts. One is the public choice theory, and second is the human relations approach. But now we are also shifting towards the neo-principle theory of the good governance as well. So that is also included in the contemporary school of thought.
आपका जो है इंटरेस्ट फॉरेन सर्विस में भी है. What do you think you will be expected to do as a third secretary in an embassy?
Ma'am, mostly the work that would come under my domain would be regarding the policy formulations, and moreover, it would be somehow an advisory mechanism. But above all, the coordination and something that is coordination with other ambassadors and doing something on the part of my state. For example, one of such functions comes under the Vienna Convention law of treaties, that is authorization. So these are the authorization officers or the authorization authority, and not only the signatures of number of treaties, but also giving accession on the part of the state of Pakistan.
देखिए, वियना कन्वेंशन ऑन ट्रीटीज में authorization is given by the government.
Yes, exactly.
And it is given to the ambassador, not to the third secretary.
But ma'am, if we look at the particular definition clauses, we can see that there is no specification of any specific authority there. So government can confer any of the representative of the government. So it also includes the political representatives.
True. But whether the ambassador is a political ambassador or a career diplomat, it is at that level the authorization is given. Otherwise, the concerned officer from Pakistan would come for signing. For example, if it's a science and technology, secretary science might come, or minister for science would come. So that authorization does not exist with third secretary. Number one. Never mind. How do you think you can improve the functioning of the Foreign Office?
Since I have also the graduation in law, where international law was my specialization, so I have also interest in number of areas like defense and strategic studies, nuclear proliferation, and even I have studied number of such domains. So I think within the foreign services of Pakistan, and my part would not be something that I would result in a radical change, but I can play my part as far as I am concerned. So in not only improving the policy formulation, but also specifically in the making better image of Pakistan. Moreover, also regarding the coordination, as well as I'll improve the things like that I could have a better opinion regarding international law. And because I believe if you have a grip over international law in the domain of foreign affairs, that is always an edge in any case.
What do you cook?
Ma'am, not in that particular sense that I cook specific dishes, but I usually do when I go to home or when I'm free. I usually cook the Pakistani food, especially the biryani and all those things which I like to eat.
So you cook what you like to eat.
Yes, exactly.
Do you think that cooking has contributed to deterioration of the environment in the world since human beings started cooking?
Ma'am, it has, but that is the basic fundamental thing for our survival as well. So sometimes we need to do cost-benefit analysis. For survival, I think cooking is very important, but there are other things which are basically contributing the environmental degradation.
So do you think hunter-gatherers were not surviving?
They were surviving, but they were not living. So with the changing circumstances, we have to also adopt it to the changing circumstances.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Saab.
Adil, how many times you appear before this panel?
Sir, I think this is my third time.
Okay, it is stated that American Constitution is the manifestation of Age of Enlightenment. Comment.
Now, somehow, because the basic structure of that constitution lies within the fundamental rights. And if we look at to the phase of enlightenment, there was the basic, the rise basically lands in the fact that we need the right to life, we need right to liberty, and especially the private property. So that the shift from the monarchical powers to the somehow the popular sovereignty, because it starts, the preamble of US Constitution starts with the fact that we, the people of US. So that reflects this particular notion.
Keep in mind about the political philosophy of John Locke and answer me the question related to why there is the need for upper house in the parliament, despite usually people says answer in the form that there should be uniformity. What answers you would give apart from this answer?
Sir, I think upper house is the need because there is always, if we look at the composition of different houses in the various political systems, for example, in Pakistan, we see that the Senate is something representing the technocrats. It has some quota for the provincial representations and some special seats. In the similar way, when we go to the House of Lords, there are some representation. We can go to the Senate of US, where we see that they are representing, every two member is representing every state within. On the other hand, in the lower houses, we see the elected. So I think on one hand, if we need those who are being elected, we also need technocrats, we also need other tiers of the society to engulf within. So in this way, I think on one hand, the lawmaking would be efficient, and the other hand, people will also feel inclusive and participatory, which is also the need of today's parliamentary systems and as well as the presidential system and for the effective governance system.
Do you think Code Napoleon had some impact on making of Indian Penal Code?
There were a number of impacts, but I cannot explain that for the time being because I haven't that much dig down into the particular thing.
What major change happened after War of Buxar in India?
I don't have any idea. I'll look into it afterwards.
Okay, when civil services began to establish in subcontinent.
So it was after the arrival of basically the establishment of, I think, the Government of India Act of 1858. Afterwards, there was a need from the side of the Queen that we need to establish some bureaucratic setup in this. So there was,
Sure.
sir, as far as I remember,
Have you
there's
heard about Cornwallis Code?
no, sir. I haven't. I'll look into it afterwards.
Okay, tell what is the significance of Montagu-Chelmsford reforms toward the making of Indian Constitution?
I don't know. I pardon, but I'd like look into it afterwards.
Okay, my last question. You talk about principles of state policy
Yes, sir.
in Constitution of Pakistan. You know that from which constitution we took idea to incorporate this principle of state policy in Constitution of Pakistan?
Sir, I don't have any idea about it. I'll look into it.
Thank you.
Chale, let's conclude it. Now you tell me, you are here coming to us, this is the third time. Do you think these mock interviews are helping?
So definitely, sir, they are helping a lot. Specifically, when a candidate comes here, so आपको एक basic अपना idea होता है कि where are you standing, and moreover it gives you, for example, last time I appeared for my PMS mock interviews. So when I came there और उधर मैं गया और बिल्कुल friend उनके सामने, so I felt something कि कोई alien चीज़ नहीं है. I've gone through it sometimes.
It was the same thing.
It was almost the same thing. तो
Environment ऐसे ही लगे.
ऑलमोस्ट इसी तरह, और स्पेसिफिक बस वो सेम फैक्टर है. प्लस जब आप प्रिपरेशन कर रहे होते हैं तो टाइम टू टाइम दीज मॉक्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज आपको पता चलता है कि आप प्रिपरेशन के किस स्टेज पे खड़े हैं. और इफ अ कैंडिडेट एक्चुअली नोज कि वो क्या इंटरव्यू दे रहा है, तो ही वुड नो कि यार उसका कौन सा एरिया अभी ज़रा लैग कर रहा है और उसको कहाँ पे काम करने की ज़रूरत है.
You have all personality, intelligence, communication skill, confidence, sitting posture, all fine. ठीक है? अब now you have already made it to the PMS, which is a very tough competition than the federal government. Let me tell you. The point is, expectation बढ़ गई है तुमसे अब.
एग्जैक्टली.
ठीक है ना? Expectation बढ़ गई है. मैं तुम्हें उस स्केल पे देख रहा था. तो उसमें ये आई थिंक यू नीड टू वर्क हार्ड. एक तो अपना जो ट्रेनिंग पार्ट है, इसके मॉड्यूल्स के बारे में जो कंटेंट्स होते हैं ना, जैसे
Yes,
चैप्टर
sir.
के, तो उनको देख के यू मस्ट हैव क्लैरिटी कि दिस इज द कंटेंट्स. अब प्रोविंस के बारे में यू मस्ट नो मोर. पॉलिटिकल हायरार्की, सूबाई असेंबली, प्रोविंशियल असेंबली, द मिनिस्टर ऑफ द कैबिनेट, पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटीज, जो कमेटी, यू मस्ट हैव सम नॉलेज ऑफ ऑल दीज थिंग्स, क्योंकि एक्सपेक्टेशन बढ़ गई है. फोकस करो नोटबुक पे, पॉइंट्स बनाओ. पहले भी कहा होगा आपको,
यस सर.
1 2 3 4 पॉइंट्स, उन्हीं को आपने न्यूज़पेपर अपडेट करें. जो पिछले कब के इंटरव्यू,
सर मेरा 6th को.
6th को, तो
6th
यू
of
हैव गॉट
November.
15 दिन है ना.
यस सर.
तो न्यूज़पेपर को आप एक ले लो, न्यूज़पेपर कोई ले लो, उसकी इंटरनेशनल G20 समिट है, चाइना का समिट हो गया है, ठीक है ना, हमास वार है, हम उसको नहीं छेड़े बिकॉज यू आर इन टच विद दोस्त थिंग. तो यू नीड टू वर्क हार्ड, क्योंकि मसला ये है कि तुम चाह रहे हो कि मुझे नंबर ज़्यादा दो,
यस सर.
तुम्हारा और कोई इशू नहीं है. यू वांट टू बी इन द DMG, डेफिनेटली तुम्हारी प्रायोरिटी यही है. तो उसके लिए थोड़ी सी मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी.
यस सर.
मार्किंग जो है वो फिर मैं बताता हूँ.
ये ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट्स आपको मेहनत करनी है, ठीक है, क्योंकि ये जो है ना, इसमें आप नॉलेज गैप है, बहुत नॉलेज गैप है. फिर आप ये जो वीकनेसेस और स्ट्रेंथ्स जो लिखते हैं, इसमें देखें कोई कॉन्ट्रडिक्टरी चीज़ ना हो.
और सर.
या इसमें जैसे मैंने आपको एक्सप्लेन किया है, आपने अपनी वीकनेसेस लिखी है, जो कि आपकी यहाँ जो आपने लिखी है वो उससे कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट करती है. डिटर्मिनेशन है, ओवर ईटिंग, ठीक है. लम्हाला सवाल आता है ना, इफ़ यू ओवर ईट, you think it is not good, you say you are determined. So if you are determined, you should you should improve on it. You should eat less if you are determined, जो कि नहीं है. मेहनत करो, कोशिश करो यार, आप ऑलरेडी पीएमएस में हैं, ठीक है।
Adil, you have a good personality. You're well dressed. What you present here is really your winning or losing advantage or disadvantage. You say that you have done jurisprudence, international law, constitutional law. It is expected that you know more about law. अब आपने you flaunted because you thought कि अगले को नहीं पता होगा treaties के बारे में. Once you do that, then the panel will become aggressive because they know and they'll catch you on it. And it will put you on a weak wicket. Don't flaunt something that you can't defend. Authorization के ऊपर पढ़ो कि किसको authorization किस तरह से होती है. It's not as simple कि थर्ड सेक्रेटरी को गवर्नमेंट ऑथराइजेशन देगी, हो नहीं सकता. जब तक कि सारी एम्बेसी खाली हो जाए और थर्ड सेक्रेटरी सीडीए हो फिर शायद उसको मिल जाए, अदरवाइज नहीं हो सकता. सो हैव अ बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ व्हाट द फॉरेन सर्विस इज. You have about 15 days. Do study all the international cases that Pakistan has won or lost. Whether it is Gulbashan Yadav का केस हो, रिको डिक का केस हो, और जितने आपके हैं इंटरनेशनल ट्रिब्यूनल, सेटलमेंट ऑफ डिस्प्यूट्स, इन सब पे आपको थॉरो नॉलेज होनी चाहिए. क्योंकि इस पे आपको, बिकॉज दिस इज योर लास्ट चांस, सो यू हैव टू रियली बी प्रिपेयर्ड. पैनिक होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, लेकिन आपको इन सब्जेक्ट्स पे जो आपने यहाँ लिखा है उसके ऊपर कम से कम अबूर होना चाहिए पाकिस्तान के हवाले से. फेवरेट पर्सनालिटीज़ भी अमजद साकिब ठीक है, हदीका कियानी अब क्यों पसंद है, यू लाइक हर वॉइस, डज शी डू एनी फिलैंथ्रोपिक वर्क, क्या है. जो भी शख्सियत लिखो उसके ऊपर थॉरो नॉलेज रखो, क्योंकि उस पर लोग आपको सवाल पूछ सकते हैं. ठीक है. सो इसी तरह कुकिंग पे अब यू वुड नॉट एक्सपेक्ट कि जी अगला ये सवाल शुरू कर देगा, लेकिन पैनलिस्ट आपको उधर से इन्वायरमेंट पे ले जा सकते हैं. ठीक है. तो इसलिए जब ये जितनी इधर चीज़ें थोड़ी लिखो, बैडमिंटन चैम्पियन कौन है, लास्ट मैच कहाँ हुआ था इंटरनेशनल, किसने जीता था, क्या स्कोर था, इसी तरह मतलब पीपल विल आस्क यू क्वेश्चन. तो यहाँ पे एक तो अपने आप को जितना लिमिट करो बेहतर है. जो शख्सियात लिखो एक ही लिखो तो बेहतर है, पर उसकी फिर थॉरो नॉलेज हो. ठीक है. अदर देन दैट यू आर अ स्ट्रॉन्ग कैंडिडेट. जस्ट फोकस ऑन इट and you should not come out as somebody who's trying to impress. You should come out as somebody who is impressive. Okay? Wish you all the best.
हाँ, आदिल सर ने भी कहा था कि एक्सपेक्टेशंस हाई हो जाती हैं. आई नो. तो अब आपने जिस तरह क्वेश्चन बहुत सारे जो मिस किए हैं ना, शायद मुझे लगा कि कहीं आप रिलैक्स कर गए कि अब इंटरव्यूज आपने बहुत कुछ चीज़ें पढ़ी हुई हैं. तो वो चीज़ जो है ना, देखिए ना, आप कायदे से यूनिवर्सिटी से हैं, फिर पीएमएस आपने क्लियर किया हुआ, तो फिर एक्सपेक्टेशंस बहुत हाई होंगे. एंड व्हेन कंपेयरिंग कि कोई स्टूडेंट आया बलूचिस्तान के खारान से आया, उसके बारे में रवैया जो होगा वो डिफरेंट होगा, आपके बारे में डिफरेंट होगा. तो आप इन चीज़ों को देखिए, लॉ से रिलेटेड है, बहुत सारी बेसिक चीज़ें हैं. पाकिस्तान स्टडी की चीज़ों को आप मिस कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. लॉ की बहुत बेसिक चीज़ें हैं, इनको आप मिस कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. इन चीज़ों को थोड़ा सा देख लीजिएगा, हो सकता है इसी तरह की चीज़ें फिर आपके सामने आ जाए. ठीक है. ओके, थैंक यू.
Best of luck. Thank you. Thank you.